الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I ask Allah Ta'ala to raise the rank of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and I ask Allah to protect his nation from which he fears for them. Today we will talk about ta'weel. Ta'weel al-Qur'an is to dismiss the apparent and literal meaning of the phrase and to assign to that phrase a specific meaning in according with the religion and in accordance with the Arabic language. So ta'weel is assigning a specific meaning to an ayah that is mutashabihah. This is permissible in every ayah or hadith who is mutashabih, or whose apparent meanings may imply that Allah has physical hands or face, or that he sits on the throne, or that he occupies a certain direction, or that he is attributed with attributes of the creation. Some people, because of their ignorance, they attribute these things to Allah. But the scholars of Islam, they made ta'weel to the word Yadullah or the Fawqiyah of Allah or similar verses. Allah Ta'ala said in Al-Quran Al-Kareem, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. Surat Al Imran ayah 7 means, no one knows the true meaning of these verses except Allah and the people who are firmly rooted in the knowledge of the religion. Also Ibn Abbas, for whom the Prophet made a supplication, said, I am among those who are firmly rooted in the knowledge of the religion. And the Prophet made dua for Ibn Abbas to be knowledgeable in the ta'weel, in assigning the meaning to the mutashabihat verses in Al-Quran. The hadith related by Al-Bukhari and Ibn Majah and Al-Hafiz Ibn Al-Jawzi relays that the Prophet ﷺ supplicated Allah for Ibn Abbas by saying, O Allah, teach him the knowledge of hadith and the ta'weel of the book, that is, the true meanings of the Quranic verses. And among the verses of Al-Quran Al-Kareem that would be fitting for ta'weel is for example, the verse in Al-Quran Al-Kareem in Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 88. Allah Ta'ala said in Al-Quran Al-Kareem, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Imam Al-Bukhari himself made ta'weel for this ayah. And he said, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, about the term إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. He did not say his face, because wajh in Arabic bears more than one meaning. So in here, Imam al-Bukhari made ta'weel by saying, except his dominion, illa mulkahu. That's what he made ta'weel to this ayah. Imam Sufyan al-Thawri said that the term illa wajha means except the righteous deeds done in sincerity to gain reward from Allah. So the meaning of the ayah becomes either everything will come to an end except the dominion of Allah, or only the righteous deeds done in sincerity to Allah will deliver reward. Either is acceptable ta'weel by Imam al-Bukhari radiyallahu anhu and by Imam al-Thawri, Sufyan al-Thawri. It is blasphemy, however, to explain the term wajhah as a physical face attributed to Allah, or to attribute to Allah any physical or bodily attributes. It is blasphemy. It renders the person a non-Muslim if he attributes to Allah the physical organs. Allah is clear of the physical attributes. Also, another ayah that is subject to ta'weel is such as the saying of Allah Ta'ala in Surah Al-Mulk ayah 16, أَأَمِنْتُمْ من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض. This ayah means, do you feel secure that the angels in the sky will not shake the earth from under you and you get swallowed in a landslide upon the order of Allah? The interpreter of Al-Quran, Al-Fakhr Al-Razi, in his explanation, also Abu Hayyan Al-Andalusi, in his book Al-Bahr Al-Muhit, both they stated that the term Man fi sama refers to the angels in the sky. They are the occupants of the sky. And it does not mean that Allah dwells in the sky, because as you know, Allah existed when there was no sky, when there was no directions and no place. And Allah still exists as He existed eternally, without a place and without a direction. So the ayah, Amintum man fi sama, does not mean Allah is residing in the heavens. Rather, it means, do you feel secure that the angels in the sky will not shake the earth from under you and get you swallowed in a landslide upon the order of Allah? So the angels perform this by the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is known that the angels did punish the people by the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the people of Ad. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالسَّمَاءَ بَنَيْنَاهَا بِأَيْدٍ وَإِنَّا لَمُوسِعُونَ. In Surah Al-Dhariyat, ayah 47, means Allah created the heavens by His power. This is what it means. It does not mean Allah created the heavens with His own hand or physical hand, because the hand is a created thing. And Allah is clear from the attributes of the creations, because Allah said, Laysa Kamithlihi Shay, which means absolutely nothing resembles Allah. And Allah is attributed with hearing and sight amongst many countless attributes. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said the Aydin in this ayah means power, the power of Allah. Aydin here does not denote physical hands, as we mentioned, because Allah is clear of having such body parts. Aydin is, in the Arabic language, is plural of the term yad, which has many meanings in the Arabic language. It does not only mean hand, so when applied to Allah, it cannot be attributed as a physical organ to Allah, because Allah is clear from the organs. So the word yad in the Arabic language has many meanings in the Arabic language, some of which do not befit Allah. Example, like the physical hand, and others which do not befit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for the meanings that befit Allah, would be like power and endowment, ni'mah. That is what the scholars of tafsir did. That's why Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said, Aydin in that verse that we mentioned means by the power of Allah, Allah Ta'ala created the heavens. Another verse that many people misinterpret and unfortunately translate in the wrong direction is Surah Taha, ayah 5. Allah Ta'ala said in Al-Quran Al-Kareem, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arshi istawa. This ayah, Imam Malik radiallahu anhu said, Allah said about Himself that He is attributed with istiwa, which befits Him. It is invalid to say how, and how does not apply to Him. So you may say Allah had istiwa in a way that befits Him without likening Him to the creation. And some scholars, they explain that istiwa means istila and subjugation. And Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal radiallahu anhu, he said, istawa kama akhbar, la kama yakhturu lil bashar, which means Allah Ta'ala had an istiwa as He mentioned in Al-Quran. It is not as some people delude and imagine, because the istiwa of Allah is not a sitting or establishing Himself firmly on a place or in a space. Allah is clear from being in places and in spaces. Imam Al-Qushayri explained the meaning of istiwa in this ayah as to preserve and to subdue and to maintain. And that is taken from the saying of Allah Ta'ala, وَهُوَ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ, And because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا تَضْرِبُوا لِلَّهِ الْأَمْثَالِ, which means do not attribute to Allah the attributes of His creation. And Allah ta'ala also said, وَبَرَزُوا لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ, which means, and the slaves to face the judgment of Allah, the one, the subduer, Al-Qahhar. Imam Ali said, Allah created the throne as an indication of His power and not to take it as a place for Himself, related by Abu Mansur al-Baghdadi. So this confirms the clarification about this matter, that the istiwa of Allah is not sitting in a place or sitting on the throne, because the attributes of sitting, settling and occupying a place are ascribed and described to the creations. And Allah is clear from the attributes of the creations. Allah exists without a place. The sixth direction